giving everyone a one.
Good evening, everyone. We're back. It's the fan reaction show. I'm joined tonight by Liam. Liam, how are we?
Extremely hungover, but apart from that, still shit because that was shit. But whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not laughing and happy about Newcastle. Me and Liam were just having a chat before, so I was just having a bit of a crack about that. But yeah, another shambolic performance, mate. Steve Bruce again seems out of his depth, and I know we're banging on about him every week, and surely the only way is to get him gone now. But how much can we put on the players tonight, mate?
Everything to me, they just players. They just weren't bothered. If I'm being honest, like if you look at that team, it was just embarrassing. Like, from Steve Bruce putting that team out to every single player was just embarrassing. He brought his subs on too late. What's the point of bringing players on with 20 minutes to go?
Yeah.
And then you take Andy Carroll off, and then you bring players on that can cross the ball. It just doesn't make any sense. But
no, not at all. We'll get straight into it because I know there's loads of people trying to get in again. And if we do get clogged up, then I'll get two in at a time. First of all, we got Proudluck. Evening, mate.
How's it going?
Yeah, same as last week, mate. How are you?
Honestly, this is just really draining the life out of me now. How can this continue? It surely has to end now. We are a laughingstock in the Premier League. We don't deserve Premier League football at this moment of time. We need change now in terms of management, and it has to happen immediately. I don't know how much we can bear with this any longer. It's so bad.
Yeah. I've just asked Liam the question, mate. I'll ask you the same. How much you put on the players tonight?
Again, you'll point the finger. I thought Shelvey's performance was terrible once again. Hendrick, why is he still getting picked? Yeah.
You know the best thing about that game was when it ended and I started being sick in the toilet.
Don't blame you.
I'm being serious though. There's just no. You can't take any positive. It's not like it went down with a fighting spirit. There's just no positive whatsoever.
Every time.
I was buzzing. We got a corner. That's how excited I was. Like, not even a goal, like a corner, because we were close to the goal. Like it's like, oh wait, we may as well have played with Carroll and Lewis off the field, Carroll and Wilson off the field. Sorry, and Lewis may as well have not even been on the fucking pitch. He's a waste of fucking time. How much is spent on him? Like 10 million, like
15 million.
15. Just send him back.
Sorry, lads. I was just trying to listen into Steve Bruce's press conference because I missed it, but I can probably imagine what he was going to say.
The same old excuses every time.
Yeah. Any chance of actually getting rid of him this week, do you think, Proudluck?
Not get me hopes up, but something has got to be done. We can't persist with this manager any longer. He's going to take her down. I can't see where the next wind is going to come from. And that's why change has to happen immediately.
Yeah.
I can see where the next goal is coming from.
Exactly. We haven't scored against since Leicester City. We don't look like scoring at all.
Yeah. It feels like we're just banging our head against the wall.
Exactly. Massively. It's like total brick walls half the time.
But like, what I don't understand is, why did he play 5 at the back against Aston Villa, but then 4 at the back against Arsenal? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You thought he would go more offensive tonight than he did against Arsenal. It's just like, the bloke just hasn't got a clue.
Simple as that. It's Steve Bruce. He doesn't have a clue, as you've just said. He's...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Proudluck, what if you were in charge tonight, what would you have liked to have seen in terms of lineup formation?
Again, I would have went for the 4-2-3-1 formation. The back four, probably with Manquillo, Lascelles, Shea, and Lewis, because all the other players we've got who are injured in terms of Clark, Fernandez, and Dummett. I would have wanted Matty to start tonight. Hayden in the CM role. On the wings, I would have went with Jacob Murphy and Richie. Number 10, Miggy, up front Wilson. Simple as that.
Yeah. Oh, nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare. Proudluck, thank you very much for coming on, buddy. And we'll see you on Tuesday night, I guess, for what will be another positive evening, as always, as a Newcastle fan. But yeah, we'll see you Tuesday, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks very much.
Take care, chap. Bye bye. Just tell like everyone's just like no one can even be asked anymore because it's just fucking shit. It's just shit. Like there's nothing else to say other than it is shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's worse than shit. Do you know what I mean? I could have done better the day.
Yeah, 100%. And you've been drinking all day and been sick.
Yeah.
And you just still run more.
Yeah.
Talk me through Miggy's performance tonight, Liam.
Well, he did run a lot. I think it was for me, and I do grief the kid a lot, but he was the only player that seemed to be putting an effort. Like, me personally. See, for me, I would rather him do less running going backwards and then and produce more end products. So, but thing is though, unless you get players around him, there's no point. I think I seen at one point they crossed the ball and Wilson had 3 players around him. Like, how is he going to even win the ball or touch the ball? He's Wilson's a good striker, but he's not that good of a striker. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like I said previously, we just bang on my head against the wall saying something needs to change. Something needs to change now. And we're talking about this director of football from Bayern Munich. What's he going to do?
Fuck all, mate. Absolutely fuck all. Next up, we've got, I believe he's a Doncaster fan, Neutral. He wants to come on tonight, and he's genuinely saying he wants to come on tonight because he feels that Newcastle could be their opposition next season. Yeah, which is fair enough. So we'll bring him in. How are you, mate? Oh, bear me a second, mate. I think your mic might be muted.
There we go.
Better.
I feel so sorry for you guys dealing with that absolute idiotic train wreck, Mike Ashley. You know, it's not even just the fact of Steve Bruce. I feel sorry for him because it's not like a sacking that we want to see not because his tactics are poor, but I feel sorry for him because he's not been given the backing to go into this season. I feel like everything that's happened from the start to now has happened because of Mike Ashley. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you, mate. Do you not think that a lot of Newcastle fans might disagree with you in the sense that they feel Bruce has had some money to spend, not nowhere near as much as other Premier League clubs have been given in and around us, but he's definitely been given more backing financially than Rafa was, and he's had chance to recruit, and we thought he recruited relatively well on paper in the summer. And it's still not worked. Surely the book has got to lie with. We know that it's a terrible regime, and that things, if we're realistic, probably won't be what we want, even if Bruce was to go. But the book's got to lie with him, surely, mate.
Yeah, I think there is fault to be had with Bruce as well. It's not just Ashley. I think that Bruce is at fault as well. I feel like Newcastle are stepping backwards while other teams are stepping forwards. And overall, it's not looking like a really good season. Good players like Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson, who's been a really good up-and-coming striker from Bournemouth in his prime years. They've all fallen backwards in their careers, and it's heartbreaking from a neutral's point of view. I went to watch this match as a neutral because I wanted to see some positivity from the match after a 4-0 defeat to West Ham. So I wanted to see some positivity, but unfortunately with Newcastle, you're just not getting any positivity. And, the reason why I sort of think about our manager, Darren Moore, is because some Newcastle fans actually wanted Darren Moore. He plays the 4-2-3-1. He plays out from the back. He plays attacking football. He brings in the right players. And, but to be honest, the only thing that stops Darren Moore from going to Newcastle is the fact that he probably won't get backed by Mike Ashley. And to be honest with you, Steve Bruce has been given the tools to an extent, but I feel like everything in the summer from the takeover failure has kind of been a metaphor on what the season lies ahead. It's like being on Hole in the Wall, Del Winton, Lord rest his soul, Hole in the Wall, where instead of the big gap hole that you could break through and survive, you just get a massive wall and you get dunked into the play area. That just feels like Newcastle United season, and I think if they're not careful, and I can't believe I'm about to say this as a neutral, I feel like Newcastle could finish bottom of the league if Sheffield United keep going the way they're going, if West Brom keep going the way they're going, if Fulham keep going the way they're going. You could end up being bottom of the league, and that's not even just an overreaction. That's possibly an understatement, and that's being perfectly honest. But hopefully, you guys can still, have a good season at the end of it. Hopefully, you guys can stay in the Premier League. But if not, then I'll look forward to facing you guys next season.
Yeah, mate. In all honesty, like, I completely understand your points because, yes, things are always going to be toxic under Mike Ashley because that regime just hasn't worked with any manager, quite frankly, since he's been here. We'll have
I've never been a fan of Mike Ashley. Never been a fan of Mike Ashley. I knew he was a toxic businessman right from the word go. As soon as he bought Newcastle United, when I knew him deep in my heart as a kid, I knew I could smell poison, and Mike Ashley was poison from the get go. And there was that old classic thing back in the days of the Barclays Premier League when he was on the phone during the Sam Allardyce defeat, and it was one of the commentators was like, he's calling up the former chairman, do you want your club back? He should have probably given the club back because right now it's in a state where I don't think anyone would take the club right now because, he's put it in such a horrendous state. It's like trying to pick up 7-day-old milk. You would never go near it. You'd never buy it, never go near it. He's put the club in such a state you would never go near it. So, I really do feel sorry for you guys as fans because right now, even though we lost 4-0 today, our club's got a board that listens to the fans, backs the manager, bringing in new transfers next week. That's the right transfers and championship quality players. So it's not even League One signings. And, I'm not even coming on here to be banterous, be a laughingstock fan or anything like that. I'm coming on here to be humble, respectful, and just say, I'm sorry you guys are going through this. I stand with you. Other fans stand with you. Mike Ashley, get the hell out of football, otherwise we'll force you out. Socially distanced, of course.
Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Genuinely, it's a breath of fresh air to have other fans coming on and sharing the same views. So I really do appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much. And you're more than welcome to jump on over the Leeds game as well.
No worries. Rovers till I die. Good luck, Newcastle.
Take care, mate. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Fair play. Fair play. I don't disagree with much of what he says. What about yourself?
He's pretty much spot on, to be fair. Yeah. I did disagree with him about the Steve Bruce thing. I think he's made his bed and he can lie in it. I would probably say this squad now is probably the strongest squad since we've had Cisse and Demabar.
Yeah.
Goal scorer. We've got a decent defence. We've got that maverick of a midfield player. I know he's been COVID-related issues, but the thing is, though, it's just I was going to say, so I'm not going to remember now. What was I going to say? But it's not even football. I don't think that you could even class that as football. I was watching it, bored out of my mind. I was watching it on my phone, and we last had the telly on. I ended up just watching the telly because it was that boring. And I think I don't understand what Darlow was doing for the first goal. He must have been playing rugby or wrestling, or he was probably buzzing about the UFC.
He's doing that silly salmon trend again, fucking.
That was a typical Jordan Pickford thing to do. Do what he's done.
It was surprising.
I could have seen that in a yellow shirt with a blue badge. That would have been Jordan Pickford. I just didn't understand.
No, nor did I, mate. Nor did I. I was baffled as to what the fuck was going through his head. I was really surprised, especially after how much of a good season he's had. And, Dubravka's just come back in, and we were talking about maybe that pressure that he might start to feel with Dubravka literally on his arse. But, yeah, it's I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Up next, we've got Johnny. I'll bring Johnny in now. Evening, mate. How are we?
Yeah. All right, how are you?
I've been better, mate. I've been better. This one stings. This one stings a little bit. Talk me through your visual representation. That's my long wording.
Well, we're still shit.
Yeah.
Gloves on, gloves off. The reason I wanted to come on tonight was because I live in the West Midlands, which I'm assuming you do as well, Carl, from your accent.
Yes, mate, I do. Yeah.
I know a hell of a lot of Villa fans, and I was texting them throughout the game, and we're that shit. Even other people are starting to recognise it now.
Yeah. 100%.
One of them's just texted me now saying, "Did you see Steve Bruce's post-match comments?"
What did he say?
So I've missed that myself as well.
Because I was waiting in the queue, but he put a laughing face after it, so I'm assuming it was shit. What he said.
Really?
The other one texted me saying, "You have no heart, you have no desire, you're a shit team." And it's got to the point now where it's just embarrassing now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Because I've had messages myself as well. People turning around saying, you know, you guys talking about wanting Darlow to be called up for England and Callum Wilson shit and Maximin shit and all this. I'm just like, it's fucking because of how bad we've been this season. We know that they're not bad players in their own right. They're just in a shit setup, and you just think, what the fuck can I say to this? Like, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, mate. I'm right there with you. How much would you? I've asked Liam this and a couple of others. How much do you of this do you lie with the players, mate? I know we bash Bruce every week, and rightly so, but I think some of them were really taking the piss tonight.
Yeah. The thing is, it's a bit of both, because if I'm pissed off with my boss at work, it doesn't mean I stop working. It doesn't mean I work in the hospital. It doesn't mean I stop treating patients because I don't like my boss. So I don't understand why, if the players aren't happy with Bruce, why that's an excuse for him to not play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's modern football. So I think, as much as you can say the players need to put in more effort, I think the buck stops with Bruce. Because these are the same players that put in a hell of a lot of effort under Rafa.
Yeah.
I know that we don't like to make the comparison.
No, but you're right.
But they were doing it. They were playing well. They were putting in the effort in the same system 2 years ago, and even last season. I mean, we're talking about near enough a year ago to the day was when we came back 2-0 down against Everton.
Yeah.
2 goals in added on time.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore. I mean,
what I was going to say is, like, why have we got Lejeune on loan to some other club?
Yeah.
But, like, it's just baffling because he's meant to be doing really well in the Liga, and then we're struggling to even make a tackle, never mind do anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what goes through his mind? Why would you send one of our probably best centre-backs on loan to another club? Like, I get it if he was a kid and needed experience, but the kid's like 27, do you know what I mean? The bloke's 27, what's the point?
The only thing I could think is centre-back was probably our strongest position, so maybe they thought they were overfilled and we had a bit too many people there. I mean, I'm not justifying it.
Oh, yeah. If you think about it, he plays 3 at the back, which is, you'll probably play Shaw, Fernandez, and Lascelles. If one of them gets injured, then he puts Hayden. So we haven't really, if you think about it, we haven't really got that much in depth if he plays 3 at the back.
I'm not justifying it. I don't say I agree with it, but I just think maybe that was the logic. I mean, if there is any logic behind running Newcastle United, there isn't. It's they fucking make it up as they go along, and Ashley has done for 15 years. But I mean, maybe that was why he did it.
Can I ask you a question? Why did we bring subs on at 20 minutes ago? Why? Like, he just loves to make subs so late. It's like, why not change it at half time? Bring Maximin on for 45 minutes. I'm sure the kid can run about for 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Fucked if I know, Liam. To be honest with you, mate. I don't know.
Do
you know what I mean?
I can't even justify it. I mean, I don't know. I can't even think of why he would.
No, but you're right. That's what it's come to. Because
we know he's stubborn. We know he's stubborn. Maybe it takes him 70 minutes to realise, this isn't going too well. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like, when's the bloke going to have some pride and walk away because he's clearly not good enough for this job? It's not like, I get if we had a piss poor team, then I get this results, but not a good team. Do you know what I mean? And it's just.
I think Ashley's got to pull the trigger, and if Ashley's such an astute businessman, which he allegedly is, he's making the same mistake coming on a third time. He didn't pull the trigger when we got relegated in 2009. Didn't pull the trigger quick enough on the manager then. Didn't pull the trigger on McLaren when we got relegated the second time. Is he going to make the same mistake 3 times?
Yeah. Do you expect to see some pundits still sticking up for Bruce during the week?
I didn't. To be honest, I don't really follow the pundits anymore because I've had enough of. I've had enough of them. To be honest, to be fair, at least I'm sorry if I'm getting mixed up with my words. Got a bit of stage fright, but
that's all right, mate. Take your time.
To be fair, at least Carragher on the commentary on Sky, he knew. He could see how shit we were. He didn't go so far to blame it on Bruce, but I think they're starting to turn in our favour. They're starting to agree with what Newcastle fans have been saying for 18 months now.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of them are starting to take a 180-degree view on what they were saying, aren't they? There's still the odd one out there. Like I've spoke about him earlier. Simon Jordan talks absolute waffle. Talks about him and Steve Bruce falling out, yet they're on the phone to each other every fucking week. So, I can't stand people like that. But yeah, mate, it's a nightmare. If we were to get rid of Steve Bruce and our dreams come true, who would you like to see in as manager in the state that we're in now, or who do you think would come in?
I would have, and I hate to say it, I'd have Pearson.
Okay.
I know it won't be pretty, but I think we're beyond the point of. I mean, if 2 months ago we were talking about we want to see good football, I think now we just want to see football that's going to keep us in the Premier League.
See, I don't even want to see football. I just want to see a bit of fucking passion from somebody in that fucking team. Do you know what I mean? Like, how is Jack Grealish still on that pitch for elbowing Shelby? If it was the other way around, he would have been sent off. Like, why did someone just clatter him? Just like try and take him out. Do you know what I mean? Like, kick him 6 foot in the air when he's got the ball and just make him go out for the game. Like, there was no passion. It's just embarrassing. Like, watching that game, I was sitting there thinking, if that was me on the pitch, I'll be kicking off. Like when Lascelles went in the dressing room and went down the first time when he punched the wall and broke his hand or whatever, or it was Jan Matt or whatever he was called. Like, where's that now? It just seems like the players are just so thinking, well, we're getting a pay packet.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what last season the football was shit under Bruce, but the passion was there. It's not there this season. That's why a year ago, near enough to this day, like I say, we scored 2 goals in injury time away from home to draw the game. That would never we can't even score 1 goal at home.
But you've got to remember in that game with 4 minutes ago, he brought 2 centre backs on. That's the mentality this man's got. With 2-0 down, he brings 2 centre backs on with 4 minutes to go. I'm not a technical genius in, like, I could sit here and grief the best managers in the world saying, oh, he didn't do that. But, like, why would you put 2 centre backs on with 4 minutes to go? But whatever.
Maybe we just don't understand Bruce's genius.
I think there's something going on that we don't understand. Absolutely. But yes, Johnny, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate that. And I agree with everything you've said. Take care, mate. I think you mentioned you worked in the hospital, so appreciate everything you do, mate. Take care. And if you want to jump on for the Leeds game, then let us know. Yeah, I probably will do. See, never know. I might be happy after the Leeds game. Might prove us wrong. Never know, mate. You never know. But yeah, cheers, boys. We'll see you later. Enjoy the next couple of days, mate. Take care. See you in a bit. Bye. Bye. We'll bring in Adam straight away. Adam, go for it, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope you guys are well after watching that absolute crap. I've come on here before, frustrated, upset. I'm angry today. I'm actually angry. I've actually reached that point as a Newcastle fan where it angers me. I've felt relegation twice. I've felt all the highs and lows of being a Newcastle fan, but I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's the whole COVID thing and being locked up inside, but I'm angry. we're Newcastle fans. We're going through a pandemic. We sit and work from home all day. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys don't work at home, but I work at home all week just to, watch this on the weekend. I can't do anything fucking else, so I must watch this shit on the weekend. It's absolute. It's soul destroying. That's what it is. It's, as a Newcastle fan who's been a fan of this club since he was 10 years old, it is soul destroying to watch this. And it's totally Bruce's fault. Obviously Ashley's fault, but it's Bruce's fault. I don't know what the man is thinking. I don't know what this whole thing about we're doing it my way now. What is Bruce's way? Is Bruce's way to do the same shit that he's been doing and the team play the same way that they've been playing for the past, the rest of the season? I don't know what the whole it's my way thing is now. I don't get it, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So is there actually any tactics in Bruce's plan? I was gonna say is because to me it just seems like we'll get the ball and just kick it along. That's all we do, and just hope Callum doesn't get in.
You know what it looks like? It looks like that team looks like it's 11 guys who've showed up to play on a Sunday. They don't know each other. They don't have any tactics. They don't know how to play with one another. That's what it looks like. So it doesn't look like there's any tactics there. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to obviously play the two strikers up front. He wants Wilson feeding off of Andy Carroll. To be honest, Andy Carroll is not the player that he used to be. Andy Carroll is not the most graceful person in the air. The ball will come to him in the air, and he can't actually hold the ball up. He can't play it down. Andy Carroll is no longer a good footballer. He's no longer what we need in our club. So to partner him with a good footballer in Callum Wilson is wrong. So he's thinking of trying to pump the ball up to him. He plays Shelby in that quarterback role or whatever. He's thinking of pumping the ball up to Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll can get the flick on. Hopefully then Wilson can maybe feed in Miggy or one of the other players, and that's how we can get a goal. But it's just not working. It's not working, and he's persisting with it. He's persisting with it, and it's just not working.
What would you do different? And I'm probably going to say everything, but
what would I do different? Can I change the entire team? What if I do a lot of things different? If obviously I'm no manager. I have no tactical, but I don't have to be a manager to see that is wrong. That what he's doing is wrong. If I was there and if I was the manager, now that you've got saint-maximin back, now that you've got most of the squad fit, because fair enough, we did have quite a number of injuries and we had COVID issues with the two of our best players. If I was the manager in charge, and if I had any say to what goes in that football team, you've got to now take the opportunity to focus the player around saint-maximin. You've got to take the opportunity now. He's back in the team. He's fit. The whole reason he came to Newcastle was to show what he can do. He probably wanted to come to Newcastle to get back into the France squad for the Euros. A fat chance of that happening now. But if I was the manager, focus the play through saint-maximin. Build the team around him. So if you need to play two holding midfielders, if you need to play Matty Longstaff and Isaac Hayden, and you don't have John Joe Shelby just spraying aimless shit all over the pitch, play those two holding midfielders there. Let saint-maxi play in the 10. Put two wingers on the side who can maybe cut in or maybe play in the right and the left back. Play around saint-maximin, and then just have Callum Wilson up front to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what I would do. Keep it simple and just play around your best players, because right now it seems like Bruce has no clue. He's got no clue what his best team is. He has no clue what his best formation is. He plays 5 at the back against the worst team in the league. He plays 4 at the back against one of the best teams. He has no clue his own self what to do. So shit, I could do better.
Yeah, it's just I think even the players are starting to be frustrated now with the lack of tactics. I think I'm not Jeff Hendrick's biggest fan, but even he looked frustrated passing the ball backwards, because all we seem to do is pass the ball backwards. Yeah. Regardless of who it is, we'll go back, and then we'll go back, and then kick along. And it's just well, he's just going to invite them onto the ball, and it's just
that's the problem. That's the problem. There's no direct route through the middle, and there's no proper wide play. The route through the middle would be to have Carroll and Wilson, closer to that. They play almost like wingers. We don't have a striker. Half the time, the only time when Carroll or Wilson manage to get the ball is when they're on the wing. So if Jeff Hendrick is passing back, it's because he's got no option right in front of him. He's only got wide or he's got back. But one thing I wanted to say, guys, I know you got other people coming on. One thing I wanted to say about this whole thing about the pundits not being anti-Bruce and not being with the fans, I don't think it's a big mystery as to why the pundits are not calling for Bruce's head, because he's one of them. He represents that era of football. All the pundits are from that era of football. They all grew up playing together. They all played together, all colleagues at that point in time. He represents them. So why would you go against someone who is one of you? You're just basically shooting yourself in the foot then. That's why these guys are not going against him. That's why only the younger commentators and only the younger pundits are actually, putting their legs out to say, look, this guy is actually no good. So I'm not surprised that these older guard are saying, yeah, no, stick with Bruce. Bruce he understands. He's got the experience, whatever, because he's one of them.
Adam, did you see the Steve Bruce press conference? Because apparently this is what he said. He's seen lots to be encouraged about and seems to be happy with the performance. Said we can't play open football as we aren't good enough. What do you make of that?
I'm glad he can see it. I'm sure him and all the other pundits can see the encouraging signs. Maybe we're too young to understand. Maybe we don't get football, because I can tell you right now, I didn't see fuck all there.
No. 100%, mate. I'm actually I was pissed off, more dejected because I just can't be asked to be pissed off. But that's absolutely fucking infuriated me. It really has.
That performance may as well have been a cricket performance. Do you know what I mean? Like that. If you watch them, you wouldn't be. If you didn't have the bigger size ball, you wouldn't be able to tell it was a football performance.
Yeah.
It was literally like Villa were in a training match. It was just so easy.
100%. It was like they were playing their youth team. We were the fucking youth team.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say youth team. I would say like Shadow Academy. I would say like not even the youth team. I would say like the thing 7 levels below the youth team is like may as well have just been kicking the ball about against the wall. Do you know what I mean?
It's that friendly that you organize before the season where you don't want anyone to get injured. You just want people to have a run around. It's that team that we were. But Bruce will say that he's seen encouraging things because the man wants to keep his job. I mean, obviously he's going to say these things, but it is infuriating, Carl. I hear you, and I feel your pain as well. It is infuriating to hear him. He is the one causing all this shit that we have to watch, and he says that it's encouraging. It is so hard to take that.
Absolutely. It really, really is. Adam, mate, absolute legend. Always telling it how it is, and I enjoy having you on. Sorry that we've got to get you off. We'd have you on all night, mate, to be honest. But, we've got to get everyone else in. But I'm going to say hopefully it'll be different on Tuesday, but we know it won't be.
Well, I'll speak to you guys then.
Yeah, take care, and we'll speak to you on Tuesday, mate.
See you later.
See you soon, Adam. Right. Let's get James in. James, how are we?
Depressed. Get Bruce out now. Just get him out.
Shocking, wasn't it, mate?
That game, just every game that Newcastle came forward was the only chance with Almiron's 10 shot, and then the rest of the game was just always giving the ball away, literally, and then Villa always going for a chance, and then they don't finish it, but they finished 2 of them, which was definitely Shares and Darlow's mistake for the first one, and then ball watching from John Joe Shelby for the second one, I think.
What do you make of John Joe's performance tonight, mate, or lack of performance?
Too lazy, but although he put in a good challenge with on Grealish, I agree with Liam. He should have been sent off.
Yeah.
Just no need for it.
But how did the ball pick it up? Because you could see when it against his heat, And that's shiny, that's will probably slipped off. But like, but it's just like, what's the point in bar? Like, you know, if that was Joey Barton or John Joe Shelby or Mario Balotelli, they would have been gone. They would have been walking down that tunnel right now. They already had the bath. They would have already taken the shin pads off. They would have stripped off and then been waiting on the team bus, waiting for the players to come.
That reminded me of a couple of years ago where we came back up from the Championship, first game of the season at home against Tottenham. Shelby got sent off for stepping on Dele Alli's leg. And I got involved with that, if it was there at the time.
So what did you make of Darlow's trying taking players out? Do you reckon he was just a bit too excited for the Conor McGregor fight tonight?
He looked frustrated, I think. Just looked frustrated. And
it's like... Go on, continue, sorry.
I feel like every player looked frustrated. Everyone looked depressed, really.
Yeah. You know how we're like meant to be this selling club, and obviously players just come to us this go on to the next level. Like, for example, they would come to us to go to Tottenham or to come to us to go to Man U. It seems like they would come to us and go to an shit Premier League team or come to us and go to like a Championship team because we're actually showing the players actually cannot play football. Like, I'm not saying they cannot, but like on that performance, you wouldn't be able to tell they were professional footballers getting like 50, 60 grand a week to kick a ball around the pitch. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I could have done a better job than that, and I was hanging out my arse all day, a bit drunk. Do you know what I mean? I was sick in the toilet 20 minutes ago. I'm honestly just so bored of talking about how shit Newcastle are. Like, we've got to come on and do this, and it's just negative. Like, I just want some positive. Like, even a goal would brighten up even a goal would have like give us some hope. My
school team would have done better than that. I can tell you that now.
You're probably right, mate. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm sure they probably would.
I'm in it.
Yeah, well, that probably says it all. Like, but do you know what I mean? Like, at least you would probably show some passion to wear the shirt. There's not even passion.
Right. I put on Instagram last night because Andy Carroll posted something about this little girl and that. I said in the comments, I think Carl might have seen it, and I said Andy Carroll texted us, and he said he would score for us and celebrate for us. He did fuck all.
What do you think? Andy Carroll's past it, mate. Do you agree?
Definitely needs to retire.
Yeah.
Get him in a wheelchair. He's disabled at the minute.
See, I sort of like disagree with what you're saying. You know, like, he can do a job if he got provided service.
No, I get that.
All right.
If he had Wilson and Richie on, not Wilson, Murphy and Richie on, who could actually cross a ball, it would have been a different story. Like, he just doesn't want to play people that can cross. What he'll do is he'll bring someone on that can cross a ball and take Carroll off. I'm not saying Carroll's the answer to everything. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But like, play to the kid's strength. Play to him where he can actually like try and hammer the ball in the back of the net with his head and his ponytail. But like, it's just like play to people's strengths, which you obviously cannot do.
No, I absolutely agree. You know, I just mean in terms of football, because what I will say is even Andy Carroll, who's probably the most passionate one about the club and always has been, has not lost it, but he must think what's the fucking point as well, because the huge difference on the face of it for me is like, we obviously everyone goes on about us comparing Rafa and Steve Bruce, but I will do it is that, you know, fair enough, these players might not be good enough to play certain types of football, but Rafa knew how to play to their strengths, which is what you just spoke about there, Liam. Steve Bruce doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that. If he thinks that they're not good enough, he doesn't know what to do. He genuinely doesn't.
Even though he was defensive, he got his results.
Exactly, because he knew how to play to their strengths, and if he had Andy Carroll in, you know, this season, he would be being utilised in a better manner, 100%. It's just, I don't know if I've asked you this before or not, James, but do you think Steve Bruce will get sacked this week?
Can't see it.
No,
I can't even see him getting sacked anytime this season. In fact, if we're on the Championship next season, that's where our next win's going to come from, the Championship.
Yeah. everyone's like laughing at Sheffield United being like the worst team probably ever in the Premier League history, but at least there's a bit of passion with Sheffield United players, like they want to win. Like that team just says to me, we need change, we need something now, because we're gonna finish on 19 points without if something doesn't change. And everyone's building the hopes up on Alan Saint-Maximin coming back. He was shit before he had COVID. I think everyone's forgetting that. He was absolutely shocking. He pretty much just walked around the pitch. We may as well have played with 10 men before Maxi got COVID.
Well, just talking about Sheffield United, look at them last season. They could have been like this last season, and they wouldn't be in this situation. And they could have been the better team anyway, doing good this season, and still beat us.
Absolutely. Absolutely, mate. James, always a pleasure to have you on, mate. We're going to rush through everyone. But yeah, we'll see you on Tuesday, definitely, mate. Yeah, take care, buddy.
See you, pal.
See you soon, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, James, bless him. Young lad. Always, it's just shit for him, isn't it? Absolutely shit. I feel for him massively. Yeah. Who we got up next?
Hey,
evening, mate. How are we?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I don't know about good. I'm just surprised that I'm on. That was. I don't know. Like, I've sort of got to the point at this point where, like, over the last few games, I'm kind of only a Newcastle fan for that those 90 minutes for that period of time in the week. Because to be honest, I can't really be asked. I mean, half the time at the moment, like, I spend half the time typing with my dad on Facebook as opposed to watching the game because it's just that difficult to watch at the moment. I mean,
Mimi last started a new series on Netflix during that match.
Yeah. What was it?
Superstars.
Oh, mate, I started that the other week, to be fair. It's quite funny.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, like, but that's how boring. It's like that's how boring the match is now. It's like the match is on in the background. Like, if the fans were in the stadium, Bruce would have resigned by now because it would have been so toxic. He would have had to have a security squad around him because there would have been people going absolutely nuts.
I mean,
but what would you change
if you were having to pay to watch that stuff? Then I think people would be like almost rioting. I don't know, like just really angry. I mean, I think the fact that I don't have to pay for it, I just watch it on a stream. That's the only way I can sort of stomach it. And even then, at the moment, I've almost been considering, like, recently just not watching at all. Because it's just been that bad.
You won't miss out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it just seems at the moment, before you start watching the game that it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, we didn't put out the worst team tonight, but I mean, still, I looked at the team sheet beforehand and I thought that midfield, no chance that we're gonna make anything of the midfield battle there. For me, Hendrick, I've had enough of him. I think he's rubbish. He just passes the ball backwards. I don't think he offers anything creatively. I'm kind of losing patience with, or I don't know if I'm even losing patience. I think I've lost patience with Almiron. I know that the lad works really hard, but he's got.
That's all he does. That's all Almiron does.
That's all he does. I mean, he's got one foot. He hasn't got a right foot, and even his left foot's not that great. And he doesn't think, he can't really, like, it's always with Almiron. It's always just down the wing, like run down the line, making that outside run. But like even when he has the ball, a lot of the time he'll have the ball at his feet and he'll be looking down at the ball on the ground, and then like he'll look up, he doesn't know what to do with the ball, or he'll stop the ball. I'm not necessarily just talking about this game, but like a lot of games recently in general. But,
do you ever sometimes feel like Almiron is maybe too intelligent for the players he's playing with, if that makes sense? Like, he is quick in, like, I'm not saying he's a brilliant player, but like, do you ever feel like he's that quick and he wants to do things like that the players aren't like there with him to do it? That's what, like,
Well, I think he tries to play quickly, and obviously he's got speed, and I think that's about the extent to his game. But for me, that's not that doesn't necessarily constitute footballing intelligence, because if you look at like players who are intelligent, like I don't know, if you look at Messi, half the time he's walking around the field, like he's not necessarily busting a gut, but you know, there's different ways of playing, and yeah, I don't know. It's always just bombing it down the line with Almiron, and he never like stops or tries to slow down the game at all. I mean, yeah. Have you got any questions?
Here's a question. Seeing as you mentioned Messi or Ronaldo.
I'd have to say overall Messi, but recently,
Carl kick him off. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't know anything about football. Do you know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, Liam, I'm a Messi fan, mate. So you might be going as well.
I'll score. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Manager-wise, who would you like to see at the club, mate?
I don't know. I don't follow football enough, I think, outside of Newcastle to really know.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I know that it's not going to be anyone good really who's coming in. I mean, no one good's going to want that job.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like at the moment, I'm just so despondent as a Newcastle fan that I'm kind of just, I just feel like I'm an observer. Like I'm just watching what's happening. And I don't know, I almost feel like I haven't got that much of a vested interest.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, mate. I'm starting to feel that way myself. So I'm just quite lucky that I get to host these because it takes my attention away from the game.
Right.
But yeah, mate, really appreciate you coming on. If you want to jump on Tuesday as well, you're more than welcome. Maybe we'll have something to cheer about. I highly doubt it. But until then, mate, enjoy the rest of your week and we'll see you on Tuesday.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate.
See ya.
Bye-bye. I'm going to get a couple in. 2 seconds. And bring Andrew in. Evening, mate.
Boys. Evening. It's a bit hard, isn't it, after this? You can be as optimistic as you want, but I think today showed some of the big players that are relied upon in this squad have let us down today.
Yeah.
Shelby was... not very good. Lascelles, towards the end, I thought he was going to keel over and have a heart attack. I think the COVID's still having an effect on the guy. Either that or his guts have gone, because 5 minutes before the first half, he goes to make a clearance and he's going like this to the rest of the defence. You're the captain. You're the one organising them. What are you doing? So I don't know how you took that, but that kind of, I think once I saw that, I seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah, I'll just carry on, Liam. Sorry, no, carry on, mate.
Do you feel like that the players are just not getting, like, for example, if that was me and I was in that dressing room, I'd be kicking off all the time. Do you feel like the players have kicked off that much now that they're just beyond caring? Like, if that, like, their passion's gone because the football isn't even football. You pretty much may as well class it as a new sport under Bruce.
It's exactly what you say. We keep saying John Joe Shelby is a quarterback. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Every time we get the ball in our own third, we're trying to get the ball to Shelby to play a long one. If it's not that, it's Almiron trying to get behind somebody. It's so poor, mate. It's something that us three, I mean, we're not managers, we're not coaches. We can see the problems. So rather than all these big presenters saying, look, the Newcastle fans are getting on Steve Bruce's back, it's the typical Newcastle fan. No, look at the paper, look at the evidence. 10 games in a row, we've not picked up a win. We've played Brentford's second team. We've played some poor teams in poor form ourselves. It's not the case that we're not winning the games. We're not competing in the games because we haven't got a plan to go and win a game. We've got a plan to stay in a game and then try and do something in the last 20 minutes. Yeah. You can't do that in the Premier League.
Yeah, there's ways to lose. Like, say for example, if we went to Liverpool, in my honest heart, I would be expecting us to lose. But there's a way to lose. There's a way. Like, I would be expecting every single player on that pitch to be crawling off it full time. because they would have put the heart and soul in that match. But like now, it's just like, oh well, their Fitbits or whatever the track's gonna be lows out. They'll be like, oh, you only ran 2 meters today. Do you know what I mean? Is it faulty or it just seems like there's just knee effort and knee. Oh, it's just frustrating. Even
and
watching.
I'm starting to see the other side of Almiron that you said as well. He works so hard. The poor kid, he works so hard. But a lot of it's in pointless areas. We don't want Almiron chasing back in the final third. Yes, in the middle of the pitch, that's where his work rate should be. He's too deep. We're too deep. And as soon as we get to Hendrick, the amount of time he turned around today, I thought he was John Travolta on Saturday Night Fever. The amount of times he was swiveling around, he's so poor. How he's getting in this team ahead of Matty Longstaff, who has Matty Longstaff played worse than Jeff Hendrick this season? That's a question.
I'll be the level on poor performances because I think against, was it Sheffield United or Arsenal, sorry, when he played against Arsenal, Matty Longstaff was poor then. The thing you're saying about Jeff Hendrick is he's the second highest goal scorer.
Well, that's it all.
Like, but the whole team's poor. He is without, like, Callum Wilson's been good, but hasn't half his goals came from penalties.
Penalties for them, isn't it?
Yeah, 4. He scored 8, and Callum Wilson hasn't been good. Like, I wanted to put a post out a couple of weeks, like a good couple of months ago, saying Callum Wilson's been poor, and I put it in the WhatsApp group, and everyone was like, "No, you're gonna get slated." But I know he's not getting the service, but like, it's just like, just do something. It's like poking a dead dog. Just like wake up, or and it's like, why is he not trying Gale? Why is he not trying Gale and Wilson? Like, why is he putting Gale on with like 6 minutes to go or whatever it was?
I think Gale had more touches in the 6-yard box than Wilson did. I think he had an overhead kick that he hit against the defender, but at least he got in the area to hit the ball. The amount of times that we had the ball wide, the ball went in, and like I think it was Adam earlier said, Carroll never got in the box half the time. He was coming so deep, like Carl said, or Sam said earlier. You can't. It is atrocious, the football we're playing. And I don't know who we're being linked with. I don't care at this point. The players are on such a low drag of confidence. It's like a steam train just going downwards. Yeah. You can see that the main characters in the squad have gone. They have gone. Saint-Maximin, will he be here in February? I honestly think that would be that's his last performance in the Newcastle t-shirt.
So do I, mate. 100%.
Would you want to be here? If you want to progress as a footballer, would you want to be at that team?
Sorry?
You know, if you're Saint-Maximin, obviously you want to progress and be in the France squad and win stuff. Would you want to be in that team?
Definitely not. I'd be looking to go to someone like Everton or after a left winger. You've got a massive manager like Control a lot there. If you're gonna get the best out of Saint-Maximin, he's gonna get the best out of him. I hate saying this. He's the best thing that I've seen live in a football shirt at Newcastle. When I know Matty got the winner against Man United, but Saint-Maximin that day was brilliant. And the missus is a Man United supporter, so you can imagine how much of a day that was. He's just went from, he can say all the best things and everything on Twitter, like no one's more important in Newcastle, and it's his actions that mean things, not his words on Twitter. And his actions on the pitch today were that he's got the same mentality as everybody else, that we're not going to go and score.
100% agree, mate. 100% agree. Really appreciate you coming on, Andrew. We'll speak to you on Tuesday, mate. Sorry to cut you short.
Not a problem.
Try and get through everyone. But
take care, guys.
See you soon, mate. Take care.
I'm just going to go and find my phone charger because my phone's going to die.
All right, mate. No worries.
Ask about Lewis because he's shit.
Yeah, all right.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you? Thank you for waiting.
No worries. Same old shit, isn't it?
Yes, mate, it is.
I mean, like, you know, I don't know how we somehow got 41% possession there. You know, we had one chance really, and like half of the only sort of creativity came from just either lobbing it forward or trying to get the ball into Carroll in the box. And obviously Carroll isn't the player he used to be. But like, there's no sense of identity in this team at the minute. I mean, all the leadership's gone. I think the players are probably feeling exactly the same as us about the manager at the minute.
Yeah.
Like Bruce has to go. I mean, with this formation tonight, I read that as a 4-4-2 with Hendrick and Almiron playing out wide, not 3-5-2 with Hayden at centre back. So that was a bit weird. But honestly, I mean, where do we go from here? Other than, relegation.
That's it, mate. I'm genuinely preparing myself for relegation now. I don't think there's if things continue as they are, I really don't see any other avenue other than relegation. And we're in January, and I don't see where we're going to score, let alone getting any points. I really don't, with the way we're setting up. We're not playing to anyone's strengths. We're not setting up to allow people like Callum Wilson to have the chances to score. We're not giving him any sort of service. John Joe Shelby, I used to love John Joe Shelby, but his attitude has been piss poor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was pretty close to leaving under Rafa as well. So I mean, I think we can see now why Rafa didn't rate him. But I mean, I guess to not make the comparison between Bruce and Rafa again, but I mean, Bruce.
It's hard not to, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's because the pundits always do, don't they? But unfortunately, they don't seem to know what they're talking about. And unfortunately, if you tell people enough shit, they'll start to believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I live down in Brighton, and people are just like, "Oh yeah, Bruce is doing a great job." I'm just like, "Have you ever fucking watched us?" This is unbearable. I mean, I was watching with my mates, and it was just there was no plan on the pitch, and the fact is, I mean, everybody on tonight, myself, you lads, and myself included, we're all just completely numb and fucking tired of this shit now. Yeah. But it's just I don't know what to say here. I mean, I don't know if any of you or anybody watching saw the HITC Sport video recently. James did about Steve Bruce, and he made a really good point. The reason last season Dubravka had to make so many saves, and the reason why Darlow's had to make so many saves this year, is because we're not defensively stable anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're not defensively stable, you've got two options: do what we do and just try to stay in games, which doesn't work, or you can try and attack games. And what pisses me off especially has to be, Bruce's comments, and I'm just I'm taking positives from this. What fucking positives? I mean, if this is a good performance for them, by his standards, I mean, God knows, I don't want to see what he calls shit. But
that's the positives.
Well, yeah, it wasn't 4-0. It wasn't 4-5, 6-0. It could have easily been like that.
Did you see Jack Grealish's comments about Steve Bruce in training?
Yeah.
It's just that's something you would do on a Friday afternoon and be like, "Oh, here lads, let's just have a daft kick about." Do you know what I mean? But if that's true and that's all he does is just chuck a ball up in the air and say, "Howie lads, let's play football," and it's just name one of the players are going backwards. No wonder, not even backwards in the sense of passing the ball backwards. Sean Longstaff was going to go to Man U for 50 million.
Exactly. I mean, players. I mean, so many of our players have gone backwards under Bruce. I mean, obviously both the Longstaffs, saint-maximin's going backwards. Almiron especially. Wilson's not getting the service he needs. Fabian Schär is he's really struggling how deep we are playing. We don't press teams. I mean, I think was a Carragher who was on commentary tonight. He was saying when Villa start to get onto the edge of our box, there's nobody closing them. Nobody closing them down.
Yeah, it was when you're in training and you have them things you take over the free kick, a dummy man. It was just literally like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Christ,
I think he would have done a better job.
Well, I mean, fucking hell, it would have gave a better team talk than Steve Bruce. Probably had better tactics as well. But
sorry, mate. Carry on.
No, go ahead.
No, I just interrupted you. Sorry, you carry on, mate.
Honestly, I think I've forgotten where I was going with that. All right. No, I remember. The fact is, we do not press teams at all. We play so deep, and there's a reason. like Bruce was saying, we're not capable of playing fluid football. Then, if that was the case, why do we have players like Saint-Maximin, Fraser, Almiron, and even Shelby?
Yeah.
Like Wilson as well. I mean, Christ, we've got friggin' half the Bournemouth team that came up now. You know, I mean, they could do it. So why can't we do it now? And it's just like at this point, it's just frustrating because I mean, if any Newcastle fan, I mean, if anyone's floating about in the comments who can say otherwise, does anyone genuinely feel like excited to watch this shit?
No.
It's it's laborious. You know?
That word is spot on, mate. It really is laborious.
We're watching this because we feel we have to, but I mean, all I can say is I hope this is Bruce's last game, but I've got a horrible feeling it won't be.
Yeah. Joe, you've got loads of fans, mate, from last week. You really have. So, yeah, they're happy that you're in. And a few people do want an impression from you. So, in terms of what would have been said at halftime, what have you got on your locker, mate?
Don't put this one on Facebook this time, then. Well, you know, lads, there's plenty of positives to take here. You know, share your passing it forwards, but we're not really sure who to. You know, Alan, Ryan, we'll bring you on, but we'll bring you on when there's nobody to cross the ball to. You know, I mean, that's my sort of level of genius. Dubravka, you'll be playing right back next game. It's that kind of shit now.
Yeah.
Don't stick this on Facebook this time, please. But
no, that's fine. If you don't want us to stick it anywhere, mate, that's not a problem at all.
But yeah, this is just like this is unbearable now. I mean, you know,
it's in terms of if oh God, I don't see him going, but who would you like to see come in that's available and that you think would make an immediate change?
Right, there's really two options here. You can either go Eddie Howe or Ashley can try and get Rafa for the remainder of the season. Like, if it was Rafa at this point, I think at this time of the season, obviously, he knows he's not going to get investment. But I think if we're going to bring him back, it would have to be like a short-term contract at this point and just hope upon hope that we can get a takeover.
You've mentioned Rafa, but if the tables were turned and it was Rafa in this position right now where we are, we haven't won a game in 10 games, we haven't scored a goal in like 74 years, would the pundits be calling for his head?
Oh yeah, they would. 100%. The pundits would be calling for his head. I mean, as I said before, I mean, like what? I forgot who it was earlier, but they said basically the pundits won't attack Bruce because, you know, they're all footballers from that sort of era.
Yeah.
Where, like, and the fact is, I mean, like, you know, people say, oh, Bruce is a nice guy, and that it's just like, well, no, I think is he's proved lately. I mean, did you see his comments the other day? Oh, the mighty Rafa. Like, you know, like, what, like, who the fuck is he trying to impress? He already knows he's not wanted at the club by the fans. If he is as big a fan of the club as he says he is, you know, I mean, you know, people are saying he's too proud, but you know, there's pride in the stupidity. At this point, I mean, you know, he should know that it's time to walk away because if this carries on, we're going down. And like, I don't think this will be a case of like, you know, like when we went down under Rafa, there was always the hope that would come straight back up. When we went down in 2009, like, you know, we at least took it to the last game of the season and were able to offload the dead wood. But in this case, it would be what would be down at the start of May, and the rot I reckon, would have really have set in at that point. And it's like, you know, there's that's the thing. How do you get rid of a losing mentality? I mean, you know, when Rafa came in, he had to get rid of the sort of losing mentality that we had from going back to bloody Pardew and Carver and then McLaren. But I mean, this is Steve McLaren all over again. Yeah. You know, like people can argue, well, Ashley's invested in the club, and therefore, because we're not happy, we're deluded. No, The fact is, Ashley is invested in the club because he knew Steve Bruce needed that investment to stay in the league, whereas Rafa could keep winning the league with bloody Mo Diarmi in midfield.
Nightmare, mate. It's an absolute nightmare. Joe, thank you very much for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate your insights. And if you don't follow Joe already, make sure you go and check out all of his stuff over on Twitter and
Classic
Facebook.
Night Podcast, everyone.
Yeah,
on Spotify.
So yeah, go and check that out. Joe, thanks again. And if you're around Tuesday, mate, please jump on.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers, lads.
Perfect, mate. Take care.
Maybe sure.
I need to get a couple in at a time here, so I'm going to bring Alex in. Alex, how are we?
Yeah, pretty good. Can everyone hear and see me? My screen seems to have frozen on my end.
Yeah, bear with me 2 seconds, mate. I'm just going to get someone else in as well. Yeah, crack on, mate. Crack on.
Right. So first off, first time I've been on one of these calls, I think. So thanks for having me. Joe, I find it difficult to disagree with anything you've said. So spot on. You've stolen much of what I was going to say. The key thing that I really want to say is a couple of things. Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And what we're seeing consistently from Bruce throughout this year are shots on target for this season, average per game. We've averaged 2.9 shots on goal per game. There's only 2 clubs that are worse than us in the league on that stat. Burnley, who are also on the same as us, and West Brom, who are on 2.8 shots per game. I don't really know what else to say. Do I think Bruce is getting sacked? No, because Ashley doesn't want to pay the 7-figure sum, which is between 1.5 and 1.8 million to get rid of him. And then when he does sack, if he sacks him, realistically, who are we getting in that's going to be better and offers a better chance to stay up? Hal's not up because, what possible benefit does Eddie Howe have to leave his family in Bournemouth and try and improve his CV by keeping Newcastle up? There's nothing to gain. Who else is out there realistically that's actually going to come here? Rafa isn't going to come back. I just, I think there needs to be a bit of a reality check here. Like, where are we going with this? Isn't going to go.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Daniel, what do you make of everything that Alex has said there?
In terms of the managers who could come in, I think obviously, you look at all the odds of managers that could potentially come here. I've seen Laurent Blanc and all that. Let's be realistic; they ain't going to come here, are they? So I think it's down to probably 3. It's either going to be probably Eddie Howe, the other bottom dweller, Mark Hughes, who I've seen doing the rounds as well, and probably would be Rafa. They are the 3 top odds in terms of who would come here. But I said, out of those 3 though, the only one that I would see working for us, unless Mike Ashley bent over and let Rafa insert it up his rear end and begged him for forgiveness, he wouldn't come here.
No,
Eddie Howe, possibly. He's got the link with obviously Wilson and Fraser, got the best out of them down at Bournemouth for the 3 years they were in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. I said, many people before have said, there is a decent squad there. When Cher first came to the club, everyone adored him. The goal against Burnley, just performances he put out, he just doesn't want to be there now. And he looks, and I actually saw the pictures at the end of the game where they all just looked absolutely dejected, they just found out someone had been sleeping with their wife or something like that. And you just think to yourselves, the whole club is just rotten. It is like a loaf of bread that's been sat out and been opened up, and it's just turned green. The whole club is just rotten from top to bottom, inside out, left, right, up, down. It's, I paid 10 quid on Now TV to watch that.
Yeah, same, mate.
I could have saved that 10 quid, go see my boy tomorrow, and do something decent with him. If I knew that we were going to be watching that absolute fucking tripe, you know what I mean? I would have saved that and would have gone off. You know what I mean? I'd gone out, got some food, got him a few little gifts and all that. But you know what I mean? Now I've spent 10 quid to watch that. It's just a fucking absolute sham, man. It really is. I mean, I'll let Alex talk now before I absolutely blow my top.
Hey, look, the first thing I want to say is, obviously, mate, I wouldn't spend any money on Newcastle. Always give it towards your family and to your kids, especially during this time. So always look at that as a positive.
I think it's just a case of, you know what I mean? I had a bit of spare cash and I thought, well, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be doing much tonight, so I thought I'd watch it. But it's just getting to that point where we don't even really want to watch them now, is it? I mean,
yeah, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch us because for me it's emotional turmoil. I cancel my Sky. I don't have Now TV. So every so often I may switch on the odd stream, but that's maybe. I mean, the last time I watched a stream was at the beginning of the season. As soon as I saw what was happening, I was like, no thanks. But a couple of other things that I just want to say. A message to kind of Alex Bruce, which is Steve Bruce's son. And to any other pundit that kind of wants to defend the current management. So for those of you, Alex Bruce came out and said, defending his dad, rightly so, defend your family, whatever. Well, my dad's only work with the tools that you can work with. Yeah, that's fine, but the tools you've got to work with finished 10th and 12th in the league in the last 2 seasons with minimal investment. You've got there about the same squad with a bigger investment, proven Premier League quality players coming in. So you'd expect at the very least the same quality, the same type of positioning-ish, there or thereabouts. Next, I forgot what the next thing I was going to say, but I'll just, anyway, give me a second. About the managers, I don't think Hal will come up like I mentioned earlier. So I think that's a no-brainer. And where do we all see ourselves going from here? I think the only way
for me, mate,
is down, and it's really sad to see that. But we have to recognise that until a takeover actually happens, none of this, no red flag, everything's looking good, none of that. Until it actually happens, nothing's going to change.
Absolutely.
One other thing that I would say is that if the trigger doesn't get pulled on Bruce, I'd say, all right, maybe it might not happen before the Leeds game, but I think after the Leeds game, I think they'd have to kind of look at themselves and say, you know what? Okay, fine. I don't know how many games we've played now. Is it 19 now we've played? You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, so after Leeds, it's 20 games, right? There's 18 games left in the season to say, look, all right, last season, there were some fantastic moments, you know what I mean? The late winner against Chelsea, Matty Longstaff's goal, the performance against West Ham, obviously the draw against Man City, all that kind of thing. So there were good moments, but like I said, instead of kind of adapting and changing tactics and stuff like that, he's just gone back to reverting to a 4-4-2, which has been about as outdated as flipping Pamela Anderson in her prime, you know what I mean? So there's no positives to take for the last 10 matches. Like I said, Brentford was an absolute sham. Sheffield United's been the worst performance in the whole season, I would say, and it's just been shit after shit after shit, and it's got to change. But Mike Cash, if he wants to protect his investment, like I said, it's not our money, it's his money that he, and like his club that he's trying to keep in the league so he can sell it and do whatever. But at the moment, it is honestly, it's like the Titanic. It is sinking. It is sinking fast.
Yeah, and I think the key thing when it comes to relegation, yes, people will say, "Oh, we've got a 5-point gap," and yeah, that's all well and good. But the clubs below us are looking good. Fulham's performance when they lost 1-0 against Chelsea was like, wow, they don't look like the Fulham that we've seen so far in the league. Whereas with us, so as every other club below us is beginning to improve their performances, now we are going swiftly the other direction, and we're not getting any sight of a goal. The last goal we had from open play against Leicester, I don't really think we deserved on balance. So if you take that away, it's even further back. Has anyone actually looked at our fixtures for the rest of this season? So me and my friend were having a chat today, fellow Newcastle United fan who's quite disengaged like I am. And we both had an open chat. So we kind of predicted the rest of the season's running. And both of us said we can see there or thereabouts us finishing between 30 and 34 points. You know, if we get like an odd result here and there. And I said that I think we're being generous with that final points total. I think we'll be lucky to get even towards 30. So if we're seriously saying that we can survive based on this current form and, you know, going up in with the run of fixtures coming up in the next 10 to 15 games, not a chance are we going to stay up with that estimated level of points. To every Newcastle United fan that I think that is still in some way or another giving money to this club, I know it's hard, but you have to, I think there comes a point when you've got to pull the plug and you've got to pull the trigger and just say, I can't keep giving money to something that isn't giving me emotional joy, or, you know, I'm not getting
that's the thing. You mean there is no joy with this club anymore. You had that bloke from Doncaster or whoever it was earlier, and that was probably the most sense that's been spoken about. I mean, I'm not just no disrespect to anybody else who's spoken, but that was probably the most sense that's been spoken all evening, and that's coming from someone who's in a different league to us. You know, and the thing is, though, him saying we could end up playing them, we probably will. I mean, if Doncaster don't get promoted or whatever, I mean, they will. We will end up in League One. That is the stark reality. I mean, the only positive from that is we'll get our time with Derby. But apart from that, you know what I mean? There will be no other positive for it. And Mike Ashley will still be at the club because he wouldn't have sold it. And no Tom, Dick and Harry is going to buy a club in League One for 350 million, are they? Let's be brutally honest.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Really sorry to cut you short, lads, but we have run over and we've got Scoring the Players going live literally now. So I do apologise, but we're going to have to end the show there. I do really appreciate you both coming on. If you're available to come on Tuesday as well, obviously we'll get you in.
I'm brutally honest, I probably won't come on after that because I'll be... No.
One final message in a nutshell. Have a real consideration about where you're spending. So this is to everyone: where you're spending money, where you're spending your emotion, because it's quite clear the Newcastle United at the minute is not a benefit to anybody in the home form.
Yeah, I absolutely agree 100%. Thank you again, guys. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in today. We will see you on Tuesday. Don't forget, we've got Scoring the Players coming up very, very shortly. To everyone that haven't been able to get involved today, again, I'm sorry. I will manage this better. I promise you I'll get there. I will get there. It's just we've been so busy with people coming in, a lot more popular than we expected. But again, thank you all. We'll see you on Scoring the Players next. Then we've got Lee coming up with the last word. If we don't see you there, we'll see you on Tuesday for the Leeds game. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your, enjoy being back at work tomorrow. Bye-bye.